Good morning or good evening to wherever this finds you. Welcome to the Fun Hog Pod with your hosts, Matt Cook and Butch Mayhew. Let's let that fun ensue. Hello, and welcome to the Fun Hog Podcast. We are glad you're here today. Matt, how are you doing?
Man, I've been a little busier today. Usually honestly, the podcast recording the last couple of weeks has been the only thing on my afternoon calendar, and I've got a little bit more going on, so I'm excited to be here, though.
Me too. It's going to be a fantastic show. We do have a guest today. You'll get to meet him a little later, but you don't know who he is. Our guests don't know who he is. We know it's a he. Well, do you have a fun hug moment of the week?
I do. My youngest son, Tucker, went off to church camp this past week. It was his very first time staying the night out, and it was great. The main thing that made it, it's super fun. Camp is always a good time. They got to go down the big slide and go canoeing and do all the fun camp things. But the fun part I want to focus on is the difference between your oldest kid going away for the first time and your youngest kid going away for the first time. When our oldest went away, I'm pretty sure he was in 4th grade, and it was a huge family milestone. We all went with him, and tears may have been shed, allegedly. And
allegedly,
when your youngest goes away, it was, hey, did you pack your stuff? He packed himself. He's been watching his brothers go off to camp for 5 years. He was totally ready, had no fear. So, there's been some interesting studies on birth order and how much of an impact it has over your entire life. And that's just one little snippet of how it plays out. Just the oldest is always creating new experiences, not only for themselves, but for the parents. And it was really fun to see my youngest and just him go thrive. But particularly at the end of it, it ended with what they called a jam session. And we were able to watch it. And it reminded me of kind of a Dude Perfect YouTube video, honestly. It was pandemonium everywhere, and they were playing fun games, and somebody got slimed. There was an ice bucket challenge. It was a lot of stimulation. So there was a lot going on there. That was a lot of fun to send him off to camp and him have such a great experience with it.
Amazing. That is amazing. The question you ask is, hey, did you pack your toothbrush, right? That's kind of what you ask when the youngest one goes. The first one, tears, worries, all the things that come with it. I'm with you, man. So my fun hog moment of the week was actually, it happened yesterday. We had some cousins come in town that live kind of out of town, and I got to be the fun uncle. That's what I call it. I get to just, be a funkle. Yeah, just get to be a little crazy, get to have some fun. The apex was when, this is the oldest boy who's going into 3rd grade next year.
Okay.
We had him rubbing butter in his armpits. It was sealed. It was a cold butter stick, so it wasn't going anywhere. But that was the highlight of our time together. I'm actually not sure 100% how we got there, but we got there, and it was a ton of fun.
Rubbing butter.
In your armpits.
Disgusting.
Well, we do, in the Mayhew house, we do have the Butter Wars, which I'll have to share at some point in the future. But
is this a known deodorant substitute, or this was just, surely 3rd grade, you didn't have armpit hair yet, right?
He is a boy that's very active, but
so he's got stinky
I'm really
armpits.
not sure how we got there, but we got there.
I don't understand how you don't have any clue how you got there. There's got to be at least a...
there was some steps, but I'm not sure how we got that far. I'll just say that. Typically it doesn't get that crazy, but it did. It was a lot of fun, just hanging out with them, loving on them, and being a funkle.
Yeah, a key to being a funkle, you've got to, in some way, break a rule or introduce a new experience. Like that's just fundamental funkle behavior, is introducing new things that they're not typically allowed to do around their parents. That's just, yeah.
I mean, that goes for grandparents and other things too, right?
I think grandparents mostly abuse bedtime. In my experience, grandparents have no concept of bedtime or sugar intake. They just
candy and bedtime. Yeah.
Like, this was never allowed when I was a kid. I don't understand why you thought it was a good idea to let the second grader stay up until midnight. Like, I have to deal with him the next day. Always appreciative of the grandparents, but man, you get some bizarre choices when they hang out with the grandparents.
That's right. Yeah, sometimes it's you have a date night, the kids go somewhere, the next day. What is that?
Warren Buffett joins the show. Warren, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. This is our guest today. This is Troy Howard of Alabama.
Alabama it is.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, wow. The open mic. So I'm doing dandy.
We haven't even got to our word this week. Our word this week for our listeners is dandy. So welcome.
Yeah. So married, have 4 kids. They're all boys except for the 2 girls. And just like to smile a little bit every day because I think that's incredible or healing. I'm a believer in a very regulated industry that loves money, and it can be tough sometimes. And what else, Butch?
So let me tell the listeners our connection, if I should. So, Mr. Troy Howard, or Warren Buffett, as he goes, I met him when I was in high school, back when the name Butch for myself didn't exist. I joined Sunday school. This is where the Butch name came from. It's Mr. Troy Howard. And went to Sunday school. I said, hey, I'm Brent. You say, we already have a Brent.
Can't have another Brent. It's confusing.
So Butch, I'm not sure where Butch came from. Maybe you said I look like a Butch. But
No. Just a B name, and it sounds cool and masculine.
It does.
Thank you.
I remember it taking me 3 or 4 weeks to kind of accept it, because y'all wouldn't drop it. It was because it was you and your little posse of adults.
I had a couple posses, yeah.
And eventually I just accepted it and embraced it, and here we are today.
You own it. You absolutely own it. For those that can see, he did not have that facial hair in high school. Or whatever that is. I think I saw a raccoon come out of the left side of it. So if I might, let me rewind to episode 7. Matt, can I do that?
Please.
Porch, I believe, was the word of the day or what have you. And I have my own version of a porch story, which was the very first time that I went to visit Brent and his sister Jennifer, love them both, at their home. Brent, you weren't there. In fact, neither one of you were there. But this is a true story. They had a wooden porch that was not too high off the ground, but after analyzing it, I chose to walk up on the outside edge of the stairs where the stringers are, and then I chose to walk around the outside edge where the band board is, because I was fearful that that porch may not hold me, or even one more leaf that would fall on it. So had to lean over, true story, because there was a hole there, and ring the doorbell. And his sweet mom, which we just have dearly loved, answered the door out of complete fear because no one was standing in view. And I had to poke my head around. Hey, Just here to see Butch and Jennifer. Oh, well, why are you standing over there? Because I was afraid of falling through your porch. So, it's a true story. Butch, do you remember this porch?
I remember the porch didn't have much maintenance in my high school years. I'll just say that.
Were you the head maintenance officer, Butch?
I probably should have been.
Was that
I
your
wasn't.
responsibility?
I didn't know anything at the time about building or wood or structures or anything.
Confident it was a place where squirrels enjoyed regularly, but
100%.
Yeah. So
Sounds like
yeah.
a lawsuit waiting to happen. Were you ever sued for, like the Porch Pirates maybe sued you for falling in on this thing or no?
I mean, this was pre delivery Porch Pirates. I don't even know if we had deliveries. No, take that back. I do remember getting milk delivered to my house, but it wasn't to the front porch. It was to like the side door. But that was when I was like real young, and that existed. But yeah, this was like the '90s, right? Where online shopping didn't exist.
No, you go to the mall for everything.
We probably did have some like magazine salespeople though. That was a thing.
You know what? Now that I think about it, that rotted porch could be an item you could actively sell today because it would keep all those people away from your door. Protect the house, if you will.
Wonderful.
I'm sorry, Matt. You were asking.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking, you seem like somebody who has maybe sold something door to door before. Do you have any door to door sales experience?
Do newspapers count?
Yeah.
That's really not door to door sales.
Yeah, but we've got some younger listeners. Go ahead and explain what newspapers are for them.
That is a great point. So back in the day, we would get a horse and buggy. Well, no, it wasn't that far back. I had this is actually how I bought my first car. I actually had what was affectionately called a paper route. I'm in the South, it's a route. Maybe in the North, it's a route, but it was a route to us. And basically, you had a territory, and you delivered the paper literally Monday through Sunday, 7 days a week, to the houses. And you got paid to deliver those papers. So the way it would work is a giant distribution truck would show up and throw all these bundles of papers in your driveway, and you had to go get them and roll them accordingly, whether it be rubber band or the little plastic sleeve, and throw those to your customers. I happened to be able to get a route where I lived in the middle of it, and so a lot of them were my neighbors. So I would always send out a Christmas card at year end, and that garnered some tips. And those neighbors I knew really well, I would send out a second identical Christmas card and write across it in red, "Second notice," and give it to them. And they got a kick out of that and got a little bonus on top of the bonus. So, but yeah, I guess that's door to door to some extent, although I didn't really sell. I mean, they signed up for the paper, and back in the day, this is pre-Facebook and every other real legitimate news online out. Well, this is, I guess, before online. That's how you got your news. And some of those customers were literally waiting for the paper to show up.
So was this overhand, underhand, or did you have to walk up to the doorstep and lay it down?
Dude, look, I am a competitive person by nature, and I like to try to hone my skill. So the Saturday papers were always very small. You couldn't throw those worth anything. The Sundays were gigantic with all the does anybody know what classifieds are? Classified ads, all of the store advertisements and all, too big. But you get a good Tuesday paper, Thursday, roll that really tight. Oh, you could zing it. So I bought a Toyota Celica, and when I turned 16, and I could roll down both windows and open the sunroof and drive with my legs and throw both sides of the street at one time. And I did this paper route for about 5 years, And then my sister did it for another couple of years, and got to the point where it got really. This is 7 days a week. It got really rote and boring and so forth. So you kind of have to make a game out of it. So for all of my neighbors of old, it may have been I was your paper guy, your paper boy. My apologies in advance, but really any pet was a great target. It did not really matter where they were, and if they were moving, that was bonus points. Had one particular customer that was not very mobile. He could not move very well. So he had this roof line where the front porch kind of came over the steps, if you will. And you could launch the paper up on his roof line, and it would roll and hit the gutter and drop right on the porch, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it.
Awesome.
So that was great.
All right, so the word this week is dandy. And when I think about dandy, I think about somebody wearing a top hat. Mr. Troy, you seem like the kind of guy that would own a top hat.
Butch, Matt, I own a lot of crazy things because I love to see people smile and laugh, and I find that younger people are just so creative, and they've not adulted very much yet, so they're still carefree and laugh, and they don't know. They don't have any money. They don't know they're supposed to worry about high mortgage rates or expensive gasoline, and they just don't know, so they're just fun and creative, and I love that. So, yes, I owned a top hat, and I forget what skit or skits that was specifically purchased for, but Butch, it was a platinum model. It was the real deal. It was awesome. I loaned this top hat to someone that actually wore it as part of a costume, and I believe it was a parade. I'm pretty confident it was a parade, and got a phone call that said, "Oh, I got bad news. What happened?" Well, apparently they were leaning over or whatever, lost the top hat, and a tractor or truck or both ran over the top hat. And, yeah, death to the top hat. So I don't currently own a top hat, but I think I would enjoy it.
Something we need to look into. Where's the place you buy top hats these days?
The same place you buy everything from cat food to wheel bearings for your truck. Amazon, of course, I guess. I don't know.
We'll have to check this. I fear Amazon might have the Chinese knockoff versions. I don't know if the American-made platinum, top hat that you speak of.
No, if you glance over, the delivery date is sometime between July 20th and October 10th. Yeah, don't order that one. You need to tighten up and get locally. Yeah, I don't know where you buy a top hat, but you would look great in a top hat. I mean, like what's the movie with the circus? The
Greatest Showman.
Come on,
Great
guys.
American Showman.
Thank you. You would be the Great American Showman perfectly, except you'd have to lip sync.
I would. Also, I feel like if I did have a top hat, I'd probably be closer to the Abraham Lincoln side of things, just with the beard.
True that. Yep, definitely. Matt, do you own a top hat? Matt, do you have a microphone?
Yeah, I'm trying, guys. Sorry, this lag is atrocious. I'm getting snippets of the conversation here. I do not have a top hat. Yep, I got nothing on the top hat.
You do have a chef hat, though. That's close.
Yeah, I had one at one point, and
it's missing.
Well, I got rid of it. I cleaned out. I think it was
got rid of your chef hat from Matt Cook.
Poor choice. At one point, this actually goes back to Spanish in high school. My name is Matt Cook, and I thought my Spanish name was Mateo Cocinero, which cocinero is the Spanish verb to cook. And my Spanish-speaking friends do not think this is very funny, but I think it's great fun. Mateo Cocinero, and that's where I got the chef hat from. Was back when I was that kind of alter ego personality
Very nice.
type.
Back to Spanish
But
101
I,
or 102.
I have since given up the chef hat, and I regret cleaning that one out.
Well, we will rectify that
Yeah.
in some way.
Maybe.
Awesome. Well, just my Dandy story, as I thought about Dandy, I don't really have a lot of like fond Dandy memories for real-time things, but it did make me think of the TV show Gilmore Girls, which I know we're all males here on this show talking, but just quick shout out. If you're male and your wife wants to watch Gilmore Girls for the third time and you've never watched it with her, you should watch it with her. Gilmore Girls is a pretty good show, and it's held up over the time. But specifically in season 5, episode 7, there's this time where Roy's at Yale, and she goes off to join the Danger Brigade. She's interviewing them, and they dress up one day and do all these activities, and they're all dandy looking, and they have an opportunity to jump off of a platform holding umbrellas. And I won't spoil it for anybody that hasn't watched that, but when I think about Dandy, I think about Gilmore Girls in that episode. And yeah, if you've never given it a chance, give it a chance. Coming from one husband to another.
Interesting.
Have you ever watched the Gilmore Girls, Troy?
I really should not lie to your audience, so I'm going to go with no. I've never seen an episode.
Okay. Well, I will preface it with this. Watch the old ones. This whole Netflix reboot, continuing the series, just ignore that. Don't watch the new ones. Watch the originals.
Gotcha.
Troy, how about Man on a Buffalo? Have you seen that? That seems more up your alley.
I would love a bumper sticker on my car as pictured in my brain, but is this a movie or a TV show?
How about a YouTube comedy music video series?
No, but I am recording this as we speak.
Wonderful.
Meaning writing it down. Man on a Buffalo.
You might want to type in Guy on a Buffalo.
Okay.
They'll both get you to the same place, but if you haven't, we can actually link you to our YouTube channel where we have curated a playlist for the Guy on the Buffalo series. And it is 20 minutes or so of pure joy.
Can I share a very similar pure joy story with you guys?
Let's hear it.
Bring it.
So it wasn't a buffalo, but it was a cow, which clearly is a cousin to the buffalo, right?
Sure.
Seems
So
related.
this goes back. This goes back to my days in college. We received permission from this family that had some acreage off of campus, which included a pond, and I grabbed a couple of guys, a couple of high school guys, to go out there and fish. And we went out there, and you know this fishing story. It is incredibly hot. There are mosquitoes with rotor wings. They're so large, and it's just, and I'm convinced there's no fish in this water because no one even lost a worm. I mean, it was just one of those incredibly slow days. So as I'm watching my cork, my bobber, if you will, do nothing, one of the guys, psst, psst, psst. I'm like, look over, yeah, what's up? And he goes, look over your shoulder. And guys, I turn around, and this heifer, which is a proper term for a teenage cow, had walked up right behind me, just curious as they could be, and just standing there, thinking, what in the world are you doing? So Butch knows me pretty well. I thought, well, this fishing thing's not going well, so I know I'm going to have a little fun. So I lay the fishing pole down, and I slowly, gently walk in a semicircle up behind this cow, and I go running and jump on it, put it like a pommel horse, put my hands on its rear hips, jump on his back, and I grab onto his neck as hard as I can hold because I expected it to be like a rodeo. I expected jumping, kicking, flopping. It was going to be bad. Guys, I jumped on this cow, grabbed his neck, and he didn't even budge. He didn't walk. He didn't move. He didn't do anything until I let go of him, and I sat up on his back, and I'm like, yeah, I'm talking to my buddy guys that are out there. I'm like, yeah, what do you think about that? I expect to be addressed as Cowboy Troy from, this long before the singer, Cowboy Troy from now on. And you guys, I kid you not, I do not know what got into this cow, but at that very moment, he started running full speed directly into the water, of which I bailed out on the edge, falling face down into the mud in the edge of this pond, and this cow ran all the way in to where nothing but his head was out of the water. And I literally got up and I looked at the guys, and we were all just dumbfounded. There was nothing to say. They were like, what just happened? But that story morphed into some embellishment, and by the following weekend, I was riding bareback on this cow and ran him into the pond, and not exactly, but it was one of the most hilarious near buffalo stories I've had. It was a good time.
That's a pretty strong. Like, I wasn't expecting man on a cow, but that's a pretty strong contender there. So well played.
Yeah.
What fine
Yes,
institution
good.
did you attend at college?
That would be Auburn University.
War Eagle.
This seems like a Cal College, Auburn student type of thing. I'm sure there's
I'm
some
having
Alabama
bad
fans out there.
audio
It's like,
here.
yep,
I thought he said
typical Auburn.
I legitimately have done cow tipping. It's a real thing.
Wonderful.
Yep.
I mean,
It's
I've
a real
seen it
thing.
on Tommy Boy, but that's about the extent of my cow tipping knowledge.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Although you need to plan your exit long before you do your first tip, because some of them get really angry when you mess with them, especially when they're sleepy, and they will chase you. So you need to plan your exit route. So, yeah.
Take
So
note.
Matt, what about yourself? Where did you attend school?
I'm a Clemson man.
Oh,
So
a spinoff from Auburn.
yeah, Auburn Middle Lake. And that actually brings me to my dandy story. When I hear the word dandy, I think about the Sports Center Top 10. And man, I really loved Sports Center Top 10 when I was a kid. Sometimes I would watch the entire, 'cause, back then you didn't have DVR or anything. You just had to watch the entire episode to get to the top 10 highlight plays was the best part. And it turns out this very week, Clemson is playing in the NCAA baseball tournament, and Clemson was hosting. And in that format, there's 4 teams. You've got to kind of win a little 4-team mini tournament in the regional. And in the last game, Clemson pulled off the hidden ball trick.
I saw this.
In a really key situation. I mean, it was a really tight game. I can't remember the exact score, but there were runners on first and second. I think maybe one out or nobody out. And there was nobody out first and second. They sack bunted to go to second and third. And then after the sacrifice bunt, the third baseman Blake Wright grabbed the ball and pulled off the hidden ball trick in a regional. So that was pretty impressive. I didn't actually see the Sports Center Top 10, but I'm sure that it was there, and I hope they described it as a dandy play, because that's exactly what it was.
I actually watched that play yesterday, and it was dandy. It was a masterful performance.
Yeah, you a big baseball fan?
Oh yeah.
Tell me that third baseman winked at him before he tagged him.
Do you have like a pro team, or just follow Auburn, or what?
No. So when it gets to the pros, I'm more of individual player fan, because I played baseball all the way through, and then softball after that. But don't chuckle. There's some legitimate athletes out there playing softball. But slow pitch softball, that is. I could never hit a fast pitch girl. But um, just playing a whole lot of baseball and then coaching a whole lot of baseball and giving lessons and a whole lot of lessons, when I see an athlete, a pro athlete, do some of the things they do, I am just amazed. It is just phenomenal. So when at the pro level, I'm more individual. My oldest son has a friend he grew up with and played ball through high school that is in the pros now, which is fun to keep an eye on him.
Shout him out. Who is it?
David Dahl. He actually came back into the league from a stint in the minors for being injured to the Phillies last night with his debut game, and he hit a home run. So good for him. David Dahl, product of Oak Mountain High School in south of Birmingham. Is my camera working at all?
So it is recording. It'll be uploaded later. Butch and I can't see it in real time, though.
Okay, so when you look at the recording, I am showing you a picture of your little skinny-headed tiger of Clemson. Just so you know.
And go ahead and set the record straight. Troy here, he was the mascot. He was Albie for a stint. What year was that?
This is true.
Are you allowed to disclose that on a podcast? That seems like confidential information.
Well, you both will get unmarked packages before the day's out on your front porch. But see how I did that porch?
Yeah, tie it back in.
Yeah, so 2 years I literally traveled the country entertaining for the university as Albie, the tiger. And
working for entertaining. I'm assuming you did not get paid.
Actually, here's a cool trivia story for all of your listeners. So Albie, as most mascots do, they keep up with the years by numbers, right? So the first year, obvious, and then it's Albie 2 and Albie 3 and et cetera, et cetera. So I was actually Albie 9 and 10, two different years. You have to start over, try out again, et cetera. And the program was really beginning to take off, so much so that we could not keep up with requests for appearances and et cetera. And most people that halfway know how to spell college understand that Albie is a fun-loving character that gets along mostly with everybody, but he never loses, and just a happy-go-lucky, which fits my personality typically pretty good too. So I was 9 and 10, and it was beginning to really get big, and we actually approached the vice president of student affairs, which is kind of a big deal. We were lowly students and petitioned to get money for the program. And they're like, oh, no, there's no money. We don't have it in the budget. We can't do that. And sneaky me, I was like, I thought you might say that, so I have an idea. Would you allow us to design a T-shirt and allow Albie to wear the T-shirt and let us get a portion of the T-shirt sales? And absolutely stunned the guy in his tracks. He did not know what to say other than, no, we don't have a mechanism for that. But we dripped and dripped and dripped, and so today, as with most bigger programs with their mascots, it is a scholarship position. And back in the day, we were on quarters. And my second year, my winter quarter, I was the first ever to receive a scholarship to be Albie.
Woohoo!
And mainly because they wanted me to quit coming to the office begging for money, I think. But yeah, here's a little trivia for you.
Would you consider yourself the great-grandfather of NIL?
NIL clearly implies that you had money given to you at your discretion to spend on any sports car or purple suit of your choice and top hat. Okay, we'll go with that, but we had no discretionary money.
Right,
But
but I
yeah,
think
you
you
know
were a
what? That is a
trailblazer.
great
You
thought.
you paved a path, and today's college athletes stand on the shoulders of giants. I think.
Wow. So, yeah. So really, what you're saying indirectly is I should get a cut of every NIL deal ever.
I think so. Yeah, there's probably a royalty available.
100%.
Yeah.
I love this show. I love this show, and you guys. I think you're onto something. Yeah, I think it could be. But Clemson is amazing. Butch, have you been up to the campus of Clemson?
I have not, but yeah, I've heard stories from Matt here, so
Yeah.
I respect
is-
it. I cheer for them when they're not playing Auburn.
It is a great place with a coach from Birmingham, by the way,
Oh yeah.
and they rub a bronze statue of their tiger mascot as they run down this gigantic ramp into the stadium, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool tradition.
Best 20 seconds in college football. But my fun story. My college roommate was the Tiger Cub. Clemson has two mascots, and the Tiger Cub tends to be the more entertainer oriented of the two. And we always gave him a pretty hard time. We noticed that, Clemson had a pretty big Greek population. I imagine similar to Auburn, and we noticed when the sorority girls saw him just walking around campus, he didn't seem to be very relevant. But when he put a mask on over his face, all the sorority girls wanted to take a picture with him. I'm curious, was this your experience, Troy?
And it is till this very day. So
You still put on the mask?
only to get my picture taken.
There you go. So would you say you have the face to be a mascot? Is that a saying amongst mascots?
Wow. Oh yeah, a radio face. Yeah, I would say that. I absolutely would say that. But that's true. I mean, wow. I may or may not have gotten in trouble a few times. Okay, more than a few times. Yeah, it was just like that. That is true. That is true. So a little more trivia. Albee has just completed, just a few months back, winning his 10th national championship. So that's kind of cool.
What sport was
there's
that
a
in?
Winning
little
at
trivia.
something.
Golf. No, so really shows my age. Thankfully, we were blessed, and we won the competition of my second year that ultimately morphed into the national championship as it is today. It's a big time deal. It's a sponsor grab. It's a UCA competition that you enter through video submissions and then have to check off all these requirement boxes, and then if you make the cut, if you will, you perform live down in Orlando at the UCA cheerleader competition, and it's actually a national mascot competition, and Albee is far and away brought home the most trophies. So yeah, really cool.
Did you say you won a title as Albee?
I did, but let me be very clear. It was actually before the national championship is the way it is today. So it's not one of those 10.
It's like it's unofficial.
Yeah, just like many of your listeners are Alabama fans, that they've won like 47 national championships or something. But if you look into it, like 12 are not recognized by anybody, but never mind. So, yeah, it's unofficial.
Send your hate mail to howdy
Yeah, that's right.
at funhog.com.
No, look. So here's what's really cool. When I was Albee, real quick, the general fans literally thought the cheerleaders and the mascots at halftime went under the stadium and fought. But if you are here in Alabama, we being the squad, the cheerleaders and the mascots, Auburn and Alabama do so many things 12 months out of the year, not just during football season, literally 12 months out of the year, whether it be fundraisers or not-for-profits or appearances. There's just so many things. And during that time, one of my very good friends was Big Al at Alabama. And, you know, it's really quite the opposite. Now, there are always those that are just obnoxious fans one way or the other that you know, they are what they are. But as a rule, it's almost like a job. I mean, there's a lot of time put into it, and you know, you see these people at camp in the summer, you see these people at appearances, parades, you know, charity events, golf tournaments. It just goes on and on. So, I mean, they're really your friends. I mean, they really are. So, no hate mail, please. I've got some incredible friends that went to Alabama.
Well, I say send some hate mail because we're still waiting on our first email. We haven't received any emails at howdy at funhog.com. So if you're hearing this, whether you hate it or not, just let us know. Send us an email.
Go ahead and tell us about all those Alabama national championships that predate the forward pass. We'd love to hear all about it in your email.
We are sure to get email now. I mean, yeah, for sure.
Awesome, Troy. Well, we're going to wrap it up with you. Do you have any shout-outs or anything you want to just leave with the listeners?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I could shout out forever. You know, this is going to sound like a little man love to some extent, but Matt and I have just met today. So, Matt, I'll grow to love you, I promise. But so when I met Butch, he was trying to figure out, you know, the world and what all that has for him, and I think he could have never scripted his path. And now you fast forward, and I know he's very involved in his church and small groups and just helping parent beside other parents. And hey, this is what we went through. What are you guys going through? And just he and his wife Heather, I know them both, but even before they were married.
Hi, Heather.
See it if you were listening. That was fun. Sorry. That's an inside. Sorry, Matt. Sorry, Butch. All right, Matt, my disclosure to the entire audience. God gave me a brain that I filter most of it, but some of it slips by, so I apologize. Heather is Butch's sister-in-law. But anyway, back on my top hat. Butch is... Butch, you're just an amazing man, and just appreciate how far you come and what you are choosing to do with your family and your life and so forth. So, you know, shout out to Butch and to you two guys. I understand that you guys talked about this podcast for years, and finally, Matt, I think it was you, and was like, you know what? I'm dropping the mic. Let's just do it.
Let's do it.
And I hope it goes uber viral. I really do. I just hope it takes off and that you guys grow, because it's fun, you know, and hopefully it's fun to listen to and yeah. So my shout out would probably be all of the moms of all ages out there, because wow, what a job, you know, especially those that have small kids. That's just a lot, and you know, God made guys and girls very different, and I'm so thankful that He made made the women with their unique attributes and abilities, because I couldn't do it, guys. I could not do it. And I don't know. That's a general shout out. Maybe not what you were expecting, but yeah.
We'll take
That's
it.
probably it.
I love it. You got to use the mic for whatever you want to use it for. So, man, Troy, really appreciate you being on. / Warren. Man, it's just a pleasure to get to spend some time with you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you guys for the invite. Let's do it again sometime.
All right.
All right. See ya.
Thank you. See you later. Bye.
Oh, man.
That was super fun. What a character, man.
I love it. Thank you, Troy. Hopefully our listeners enjoyed that guest. But we are going to get in the next part of the show. We've got a few more minutes as this thing wraps down. We're going to title this The Weekly What. And last week, we shared what books we're reading right now. This week, we're going to share what album have you had on repeat that you'd like to just share with our listeners.
You know, Butch, I don't listen to albums. I'm a Spotify subscriber, and the one that comes to mind lately that I've been listening to in my car is the Soul Mix.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's kind of Stevie Wonder. Let me see if I can pull it up and get some specific songs that are on there. Yeah, we got Sir Duke, we got Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Spill the Wine, September. Man, it's a pretty good one. So check out the Soul Mix on Spotify.
That sounds like some good vibes.
Yeah, good kind of throwback. What's on your repeat?
Awesome. For me, I've been listening to a bit of Josh Garrels. He actually released a new song. I've actually had the song on repeat, but it's part of a new album called Rock My Soul, and it's got a reggae vibe. It feels very soul-y, even though soul's in the title. So that'll pair nice together. So go check those out. They'll be in the show notes if you want to just click a link and listen along with us. We would love that. Cool. So I also wanted to give you an update on the running challenge that we've talked about. We failed to talk about it last week, so let's sneak it in here. I have been, your challenge 2 weeks ago was run 1.5 miles, and as the shin fire builds up, kind of walk and then run again. And the first time I did that, it was very difficult to keep running because the shin fire was just too great. It wasn't going away even with just walking. And this past week, as I've been running, it's gotten better. It may have been I tweaked kind of what I do. So coming out of my house, I kind of go down a hill and then kind of go down to run on the sidewalk down to the park. So it's going downhill, which I think was maybe putting a little more pressure on the shins and stuff. So I've been walking that, and then when it's a little more flat, that's when I will kind of start jogging. So it also gives me a little time to loosen everything up. And so right now I actually made 2 miles, kind of a loop doing that, and the shin fire was still there, but it would go away after I walked, and then I'd run a little bit more, it'd come back, I'd walk and kind of work through that. So I think the muscles are doing what they're supposed to do, which is a good thing. But I'm still, I'm still not jogging a mile yet, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, hey, just a little bit every day, right?
Any feedback from me?
You stay the course, right? Like on any given day, the single day's workout is not worth kind of derailing your overall motivation, right? So if you're going to go, particularly as it's getting really hot, it's super hot in Memphis. I'm sure it's hot in Birmingham. Just if you push so hard that you're like, man, I need to take 6 days off, then you kind of it's not much bang for your buck. So just keep persevering.
Think that has been good. Like I've even through my exercise and moving. In the past, I would just like push it as hard as I could, and like the next couple days, it'd be like difficult to walk. Like here, it's like, I still got a little pep in my step. I'm not like hurting everything, but I do feel my muscles like, they got a decent workout, but it wasn't kind of worked out to the nth degree. So
yeah, love that.
Anything I should be adding or substituting or modifying?
No, I think just keep going. Do you have anybody you can run with? The
Right
kid?
now, it's my kids.
Yeah,
If they
that's great.
decide to join me, my older kids.
Yeah.
They run ahead of me, but
Yeah.
I catch up to them eventually.
Yeah, that's a great. I mean, we use that all the time in running. Just running with other people, particularly, just at slower paces where you're trying to have a conversation. That kind of puts some extra load on your lung capacity. Just you're trying to have a conversation. But if you can run and keep a conversation, that's good for teaching you to have a low threshold, right? So you're not taxing your body too much.
I can't do that yet.
Right.
I'm still sucking wind as I'm running, so it's not quite there. My kids can, but I think they did a lot of running and peeing stuff, so I'm a lot behind them, not just a little.
Yeah. Ask them about their day and then go for a run and just let them have the floor for a minute.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good. I will keep that in mind. Big shout out to Matt Anderegg, some listener feedback / listener tools. He turned me on to onthegomap.com, and it's a map that you basically, pull it up, you see trails and roads and stuff, and I was able to click through, build my map out, and it actually shows you like the elevation of your run, so you can kind of see where it goes up, where it goes down, and you can kind of plan out your run, so I'm not having to carry my phone in my hand as I'm running, because I don't have one of those fancy fanny packs yet.
That's super cool. Yeah, I've used Map My Run for quite some time. I think it was by Under Armour, and so it just feels a little more commercialized than I would like. So I didn't quite I saw that link that you had posted, but I haven't kind of dug into it in too much detail. So I'm sure we'll post that in the show notes.
Go click on it. onthegomap.com. It's not commercialized. There's no ads. Keep in mind, I run an ad blocker, so I don't see any. But it seems very, very happy. And Matt's he's got balloons on his side.
This has been happening a lot to me. I don't quite want to turn off the FaceTime reactions, but
I
I've
think
gotten
you get the peace sign going.
Quite a few of these have hit me in meetings, and it's always a good laugh, and then I'll get the 2 thumbs up fireworks. There they go. And the FaceTime reactions
for those
are
of
pretty
you
fun.
who don't know, if you are on a MacBook and you've got a camera, and they automatically enabled these reactions. You can do different things with your hands, and sometimes you unmistakably, not on purpose, have a hand motion and balloons start coming up during a serious conversation. Because you got your hands resting a certain way. So it's a lot of fun. I agree. I like the spontaneity of it that just happens. So
yeah, they need more though. I think they need. Yeah, there just needs to be a broader range. I go back and forth on all these emojis and things. It is really fun when you capture the right emoji reaction to somebody in like a Slack channel or whatnot. It's really fun when you have particularly when you have a witty or a clever emoji that you kind of have. It doesn't quite meet the eye at first. So.
Yep, 100%. We don't have any other listener feedback because no one's sending us emails. So if you're listening to this, if you've made it this far, I know we're not the stars that old Troy was. If you've made it this far, send us an email. Howdy, HOWDY at funhawg, FUNHAWG.com. Let us know about the show. Let us know you listened. We will send you a sticker if you want to provide your address.
It's really a chance to get your agenda broadcast on a nationally distributed podcast.
Yeah. Well, we can read your email. We can do a little mailbag section. You just let us know. Let us know.
Tell us about those underrated Alabama national championships. We want to hear from you.
100% we do. You got anything else before we go to the next week's word?
I'd actually like to sneak in one last dandy that I didn't get in. We had a lot of lag issues today that we were grinding through, and I just thought this was fun. I came up with it on a whim, but it was 3 fictitious definitions of dandy that I was going to have you rate which one was the best fake definition of dandy. So we've got a dandy is a type of small ornamental plant known for its vibrant flowers and delicate appearance. A dandy is a specialized tool used in astronomy, specifically designed for cleaning and polishing the lenses of large telescopes. Or, a dandy is an ancient mythical creature reported in medieval folklore to inhabit European forests.
Very specific European forest.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm going to go, the most realistic. If we're going realistic,
We're just going for the.
I'm gonna have to go with two.
The most fun hog is what we're going with.
the most fun hog? Well,
Most fun hog.
the most fun hog would probably be number 3. Mythical
Yeah.
creatures,
Pretty cool.
everything fun about that.
I
I
thought-
also like plants. That's probably a good number 2. The most realistic, though, has got to be the tool to clean large telescopes.
Yeah.
Those genius.
I thought that was a pretty good. Those were courtesy of ChatGPT. So, AI for.
I was
fake
about to give you all the
definitions.
credit.
No.
Hey folks, creating products, you need a name? Reach out to your boy Matt Cook. He
Yeah.
will help you out.
I'll just submit it to ChatGPT for you. You'll be very impressed. Clearly.
All right,
Spin
you're
that.
spinning the wheel.
Wheel.
Oh, fortune!
Yahtzee.
Yahtzee.
Woo!
It's gonna be a Yahtzee week. I'm excited.
That's the word we needed. Great spin, Butch.
Love it, man. Love it.
All right, let's wrap this thing up.
Awesome. Let's do it. Thanks for spending some time with us. I'm Butch.
I'm Matt. Go
Go
forth,
forth
and hog
and
some
hog
fun.
some fun.